Hey everyone, thanks so much for clicking on this week's video. Today we are talking fireplaces. And not the actual fireplaces, but more so what goes around your fireplaces. There are two common scenarios where we help our clients with fireplace design. One is clients who are building a new home, and we can design almost anything we want from scratch, so the possibilities are endless. The other scenario is our clients have an older home with an outdated fireplace that needs updating. Choices may be a bit more limited with this scenario. So in today's video, I'm going to be tackling scenario 2. I want to share with you some fairly simple and some maybe not so simple ways to create some pretty dramatic changes to your fireplace that might be stuck in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or maybe is just a boring builder grade fireplace that you want to add some drama to. But before I get into the meat of it, I do want you to make sure you assess your skills carefully before jumping into any home reno project. Knowing when to call in reinforcement can save you money and headaches from creating a bigger mess than you started with. Keith can certainly attest to the fact that back in the day when he traveled a lot for work, I was famous for tearing something apart, giving a very poor minimal effort to put my plan into action, and then having him rescue me from the doomed fate of our house. But not everyone has a handy Keith in their back pocket who works for free, so tread carefully. Over the years, Keith and I have moved about 8 or 9 times, so we have had just about every different bad fireplace scenario out there. There was the house with no fireplace where we wanted one, the house with the huge orange brick double-sided fireplace, the builder grade fireplace with nothing around it, and the fireplace with the stone surround that clearly slipped down the wall during installation. So you get the picture. I am here for you. Idea number 1 will apply to many of you. If you currently have a fireplace with brass vents or details, the quickest and easiest way to bring your fireplace into 2020 is to paint all that brass out a flat black. You can buy paint specific for metals that can withstand the heat. There are very few scenarios where I would leave that brass alone. Yes, golds are back, but that shiny brass is not the same as the warm champagne golds that we are seeing as a current design trend. Idea 2 relates to a surround that is currently an outdated or an unappealing brick or stone. I know some of you, particularly the men out there, think that painting a stone or brick should just not be done. But if you pick the right color, this can easily give you the most dramatic result for the money. You need to carefully consider what existing finishes you have and select a color that will stand the test of time and work with both your home and your style preferences. But I would love to encourage you to go bold. Don't play it too safe unless you want your fireplace to disappear into your backdrop. Then maybe you paint it and the wall around it all the same color. Plan, but don't overthink. But do be forewarned, this can be a big job depending on the size of your fireplace surround and can require more coats than you will want to do. You will need to be highly motivated to get through to the end. Okay, next, if you have a mantle that surrounds your fireplace or is the most dominant feature of your fireplace, this will be super easy to paint out, and you can play with your color a little bit more easily than painting brick or stone because it will be easier to redo down the road if you want to change it up. For a classic look, go with white or black with a bit of sheen, or if you have a more playful aesthetic, go bold with a blue, green, or whatever accent color will work with your decor. Just make sure it will tie into something else in the room, so artwork, a rug, or pillows, just as examples. Don't be afraid of paint. Now, if you have a poorly installed, outdated, or just boring tile surround, this is where you need to bring in a pro. We need to get rid of that tile that's dragging your fireplace down. And when you remove the tile, you may be left with some drywall damage and will need to repair that before installing your new tile. So don't replace one bad tile job with another. This is a spot where spending a little extra to get it right is necessary. Installing a statement tile can really dress up your fireplace and the room it's in. If you want to splurge, take your tile higher up to the ceiling. I usually only like to do this if the fireplace juts into the room, as I'm not really a big fan of tiles slapped directly onto a flat wall, but even your pro might be able to help you make that happen. See what your budget allows for. Just keep in mind that even the most basic and inexpensive tiles can look fantastic if installed in unique and interesting ways. Next up, you may have a mantle worth keeping, or you may not have a mantle worth keeping or painting over. It might be too small, narrow, or has just run its course. In that case, replacing your mantle with something that works better with your style preferences makes sense. You might find something at your local antique shop that has some real character, or you might have a local carpenter build you something that will better suit the scale of your fireplace area. I would suggest making a template to give yourself a visual representation of the size you want and make sure it will create the effect that you're after. Every different wood species, stain, and design will have its own unique, dramatic impact on the overall feel. Now, it might be tempting to jump into tackling my last tip for you, but don't do it. This is the icing on the cake, and you have to make the cake before applying the icing. So what are the icing ingredients? This is your artwork, fireplace screens, decor items, all the final touches that will finish off the look you have been working towards. You may not have any if you're after more of a minimalist look, and you may have a bunch of accessories. That will be determined by your earlier choices. So keep your design questions coming via Instagram, or just hit reply on one of our weekly newsletters, and we will do our best to get your questions answered in an upcoming video. Thanks everyone, and we will see you in the next video.